Madam Clerk, have a roll, please.
Chairman Johnny R. Coover.
Here.
Vice Chairman Chris Mayer.
Here.
Member Robert Hubbard.
Here.
Member Lisa Burke.
Here.
Member Christine Sullivan. Here. City Attorney Nancy Meyer. Here. City Manager, City Manager Andrew Butterfield.
Here. Thank you. Okay. First up, we got two sets of board minutes. I need a motion for the May 13th, 2025 CRA meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the May 13th CRA minutes.
Okay. Motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Get another set for June 10th. I need a motion.
Motion to approve the June 10th minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next up is comments from the general public. I have no sign-ups, I don't think.
No sign-ups.
And by show of hands, any public like to speak? Okay, seeing that, I'll bring it back to comments from the city manager. Pass to Mr. Butterfield for his comments.
Yes, sir. CRA meeting. The feature tonight is the budget. So I'd introduce Adam Thompson, our finance director, and Derek Smith, and I'm sorry. Yeah, and Adam's got a slideshow put together on the.
Oh wait, we get that. We get out of order.
Yet. I'm out of order. Sorry.
You're out of order.
It's a little late.
Just kidding.
I know the movie.
Yeah, I thought you would.
So anyway, where the focus will be on there's money in the CRA. We've got plans to spend, and partly on real estate and some other projects. And the slideshow we put together should illustrate that pretty well.
Okay. Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. And next up is comments from the board. I'll start to my left this time with Vice Chair Mayer.
I have no comments.
Okay. Member Burke.
I have no comments.
Member Hubbard.
Nope.
Member Sullivan.
No.
Okay. I will have none. Moving on to agenda, board business. Item number 2, fiscal year 2026 CRA budget discussion. I'll pass it to Mr. Butterfield for introduction, and then I guess over to you.
Yes, sir. As I too early said earlier, Mr. Thompson's got an overview of the budget for FY2026 and the end of wrapping up FY25 and FY2026.
Yes.
Thanks, Adam.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to go as slow as I possibly can for you. I'm a slow talker anyway. So this is the CRA budget meeting today. So we're going to transition this right into CIP. It's kind of go along pretty well. I have Derek here if y'all have any questions on any of the CIP stuff that I can't answer. But this kind of mirrors last year, so it should be pretty straightforward. Okay. Oh, turn on. Okay. FY26. This is kind of small. I do apologize. The CRA fund revenues. The city of Redevelopment is projected to increase from 4.91 million to about 5.34 million in FY26. That's a 9% overall increase. Some key changes. There's an increase of about 53,970 due to rising taxable values within the CRA district. I did decrease about 20,000. That's 18% or decrease in reflecting a conservative estimates for the interest, and that's because we plan on spending, so we won't be collecting as much interest. So I cut that. I probably could have cut a little bit more, but I think it's kind of a fair estimate based on what we're thinking. Rental property, the 12,000. We're planning on getting about 12,600. We've been pretty steady with that. It's been put in a different line. You'll see that in a different slide. It's been put in a miscellaneous line instead of the actual revenue line. It's going to be. We've tried to fix that this year. And that's the next line up. Miscellaneous revenues. They went from 0 to, because that's where we were putting the rental income. I don't know why. That's where we were. And then our transfer from general fund increased to about 49,336. It's about a 7% increase, and part of that is we decided to take Derek's position, who was paid 100% out of CRA. We decided to lock him in at only 90% and pay 10% out of the general fund, so that he can kind of go everywhere. His resiliency can go beyond the borders of the CRA, and we pay him somewhere From the reserves, there's a decrease of about 458,177. That means we're kind of in line with our growth and our revenues this year with our spending. So we didn't have to pull that much from the from reserves. Any questions on that? All right, CRA. So this kind of is just a comparison of last year, FY25, and this year. So our ad valorem taxes are going to be about 7% increase in ad valorem tax. The interest on the bank accounts have decreased 18%. It's just a kind of a run through of the slides before, just a breakthrough of last year and this year. The 12,600 for the rental income is going to be in there. Transfer from general fund has increased at 7%, and our cash balance forward has about stayed the same on that aspect of it. And our reserves have decreased 14%. That's just so you can see it from the perspective of FY25 to FY26. We're in a better spending habits and things like that. I think it really helped us do this. Any questions on that? CRA fund expenditure overview. Some major categories that we are going to see in this is personnel service. It's went up about 47%, and that's with Derek. So before we weren't really had a budget, we just weren't spending it out of there until he came on mid this year. So with his full-on salary next year, it's going to increase that a little bit. And of course, you get the benefits from the FICA and all that kind of stuff, and that helps rise that. Operating expenditures, our demolitions, we decreased from increased 150 to 200,000. That's up with the Slum of Blight. I'm talking to Veronica. That was something that she kind of wanted me to add in there. So we're going to do that so we can take down the house that need to take down this year. Community and commercial CRA grants, they remain steady at 100,000 apiece for the residential and 100,000 for the commercial. I know there was some talk about, last year when we set the 100,000 for the commercial, we weren't sure if we were going to keep it that way, but I would have budgeted it that way. If you don't want to change that, you absolutely can't do that. And then the professional services shows a large allocation, but it is actually being down. So what we did was, instead of putting everything into professional services, we kind of drawn those out into different lines in the actual budget so they make sense on where they're going. So instead of just saying professional services for, I'm not really sure what we were using that for, but it was a large amount in there. And so we budgeted out what we actually thought in a line item where it needed to be. Some significant capital improvement investments this year. Purchase of land, about 1.9 million. That's about 500,000 increase. And I put the Bank of America building in there because that's what we were talking about. But I think we kind of moved away from that. But this is going to be acquisition for other pieces of land in the area that's going to benefit the CRA plan going forward. Parks, there's about $1,079,957 in parks this year. We increased that by 500,000, and that's for Brasher Parks bathroom projects, which will be inside the CIP going later in the slideshow. And then road improvements, $500,000, and that's for Grand and Old Post. And sidewalk construction, we put 300,000. That's unchanged from last year, which we didn't use any from FY25. And then the interfund allocations, there was a slight increase in several cost allocations, ITs, general government, et cetera, totaling about 129,768. And that was because when we were looking at it, we weren't, we fixed the cost allocation, cost allocation, but also the accounting that was supposed to be in there. So we have some employees that are supposed to be paid out of CRA or, get some kind of transfer. Like mine was not being covered 100% like it was supposed to be in there, my percentage. So we fixed those. So that actually increased it about $129,768. Any questions on that? No. And then the expenditures here, I just wanted to let you know the 7% increase. So you actually see the numbers. 5,010,317 was budgeted last year. This year we're at $5,336,033. And again, this is just that. It just shows you our net position on this, our revenues versus our expenditures. By law, we're required to have that balance, so our net position is 0. So we are within the constraints of the law when it comes to budget. Any questions on the actual budget piece?
So Adam, in regards to the conversations we're going to be having with the developers on next week, and then I'll see whatever comes of that would come back to council to discuss or whatever. That's not really accounted for in here.
No, so me, Eric and I have been talking about this, and of course,
Yeah.
that will have to be, we'll have to reallocate once we figure out what we're gonna do. I mean, this plan is kind of where it's at right now, is the budget, and then once we have that conversation with them, we decide what we wanna do, whether that's liquidate, whatever, then we can actually come back on our at our first budget hearing, I think it's on the 4th, or the 4th, right?
September.
Yes, September 4th. So once we come back to that, we can reallocate those, if we need to, and make sure that that's associated here.
Yeah, and so the lion's share, obviously, so we're showing about 5 million some odd balance, right? And we're showing it all it's going out the door. In the past, obviously, that didn't happen because we've got $5 million in here.
Right.
So this budget probably being somewhat unique, as we've got the land purchase is almost $2 million. I'm trying to get back to that. Let's see, where's that at?
I had a question.
Go ahead. I'm trying to find this.
How can a bathroom be $500,000?
So those, it's not just a bathroom; those are park upgrades to Brasher. But
Well,
that's
it's so,
one of those big pieces we were going to do.
and actually, it's $1,079,000 is what's in there.
What? But there was
It says $500,000 last year.
added for the bathrooms.
Well, no, I just put that as just one of those things that is important to do this year, which was build a bathroom at Brasher Park. We added $500,000 to the overall parks. That's just not Brasher. That's all the parks in general.
Oh,
So
okay.
see,
Well, I thought it was saying 500,000 for
I
a
do
bathroom.
apologize. No, we increased the 500,000, not just for the bathrooms, but I put the bathrooms on there because that's an important piece we need to do this year. Once we tore those down, there's really not a plan or anything going forward. Derek and I have kind of told him since he got here, it's one of those things we need to fix. We have porta potties out there, which I think is unsanitary and costs us money. So we fix it. We need to put a bathroom out there so it's more.
You were
Right, I agree. I just didn't think we needed a 500,000.
you were going to love these bathrooms.
Well,
Hopefully it is what we're going for.
Like
you'd have somebody wiping your butt for that much money. Yeah, you'd have yeah, we'd have
I mean,
somebody
this is
there.
right hand and left hand.
Wow.
Information.
I do. I apologize for any confusion. As Adam mentioned, those are just things we might be doing. The same thing, we listed a bank property that we might purchase. Other priorities have come to light in the last couple of weeks. Still land purchases, probably around the same amount, but less. So, sorry if there's any
Yeah,
confusion on
ultimately,
the
we're going
slides.
to use this kind of mirrors last year. The only difference is the increase and decrease that you see on here. And like I said, the main part of this you're going to see in the park section where there's CIP projects in there. Again, for me, when I was doing this, one of the biggest things, whether we reallocate this or not, but I think Brasher Park really needs to have that bathroom put in there so they can be used, and we're not using those things. So those are my important things.
Okay.
Chris?
So staff thinks we got to put a bathroom at Brasher Park. I'm not against that, but you think we got to turn it into a boat ramp. So, I mean, if we build a bathroom there, it's right in the middle of the boat ramp, we got a problem.
Well, you would need a bathroom at the boat ramp too.
Well, then we probably need to do a big scope thing, so we're
Right.
not like right in the middle of the turnaround lane,
And that's
for the bathroom.
that's kind of why I put the seed there. To let's look at this and see what we want to do at Brasher Park, because we got to refurb that playground equipment too, as well.
Yeah,
So let's.
all that's in the CIP.
So it looks like we got, and so this parks in general, we've got $1 million towards parks. We need to figure out how we allocate that across
Okay.
parks.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I just don't want nothing against that. I don't want staff telling us to put a bathroom there, and you're thinking we're going to build some kind of boat ramp thing.
Right. No,
I mean, that's where we all need to be talking together and communicating.
either way, we're going to need a bathroom, boat ramp, or just park.
I get it.
Put in
So
the right spot, yeah.
But where it sits.
where it sits and what.
We don't have a bathroom over at Nick's at the boat ramp, the other boat ramp.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Do we?
We just redid them.
we have
matter of fact.
bathrooms there.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
They may not be as nice as Brasher. I may not wipe your butt. They do work.
They actually refurbed those. They really
They're
they
nice.
did nice.
What I see over at Nick's is I would like to see multiple docks out as far as we can go, for visitors coming into the city and the waterfront can park their dock to visit the businesses there because they get filled up. There's nowhere along this coastline that really has a place for, even in Tarpon Springs. You go down there, one place you can dock is sometimes at on the other side of the river at Captain Jack's.
So a place where they can dock and go
I
eat
would
dinner.
like
Yeah, we need
people-
public docks, for sure.
And I'd also like to see docks for larger vessels with water and power we can charge for if they want a couple bucks want to
Storage.
spend the night or a
Stay the
weekend.
night in City Port Richie and there.
Yeah.
People with money. come and relax and spend some money there and visit us. As the city grows, I think that would be a valuable asset for us to have that, and no one else has that. I'd be on top of that. I'm not saying immediately, but I think it's something we need to look into doing. But and we have the money for that. We ever get the money for that, that would be key. I think we can keep that boat ramp. If there any key land use was meant for that boat ramp, and I don't think you can take it out of there. But you can expand the docks any way you want.
A floating dock, right? Something
Well, you'd be
survives better
floating
against
docks,
hurricanes.
right? And that's something we could have some dock manufacturers come in and drop some. We can go over and talk to them. They can drop designs, and we can get some bids on that. But on the left side of the ramp, next to where the casino boat was, I'd like to have a long dock there. So if someone does, like if a resident only wants to use that ramp, they can use it and pull in and out on that side of that ramp, and you still have plenty of room between there and Hooters for multiple docks for multiple boats that are visiting. And we can turn part of that park into a park.
But to your point, I'm not telling you to put a bathroom anywhere. What I'm saying is, if you're going to put any money into the playground equipment or anything else over there, I'm not going to take my kid there and have to go use a porta potty. I mean, I think it's just one of those things. It needs a bathroom. We took it down, so we should refurbish it. And we do have the money to do that. Why we didn't do it when we took it down? Or had
I
a
just
plan.
want a master plan. That's all I'm saying.
No, I think we're going to be developing that.
We're going to put a boat ramp over there. It's a good idea to have one.
Absolutely.
And I think as Adam and the mayor alluded to, we didn't spend a lot of CRA money this year. We don't want to get in trouble with the governor for sitting on money that is there to spend.
Absolutely.
So we expect FY2026 to be more of a spending year. This was a rebuilding year, if you want to call it that. And now we've got funds to do some really important things. So expect to see this time
Great
next year
opportunities.
a lot more dollars out the door.
And just to give you a precursor, I mentioned about the developer meeting next week or whatever. So they've asked for some assistance with their development down there.
I'm sorry. Who's this, Eric?
The people bought Gildog for the 8.5 acres over there. So
Okay.
they've reached out to us to do some to provide some financing gap, if you will. Now there's different ways to do that. You got bonds, you got tax rebates, you've got all kind of things. You've got money in your CRA to help up toward that. So just keep in mind that in order to get that off the ground, we might need to do something there. I have more details later on once we have these conversations or whatever. But keep in mind that there may be some stuff we need to do to help that project along.
So what project?
The Field Dog 8.5 acres to do
I don't know what they're doing.
again. They're putting that together. I don't
Okay.
either.
Well,
But
let's
let
wait
me,
till then.
so it's an email, so it's public knowledge. So I'll give you just the background of the email. So they've been crunching numbers and whatnot. Again, it's mixed use commercial development. It's about all I know as far as that. But they're looking at about $80 million project. They're expecting about $50-some million to be evaluated at after it's done, and they've got they've got investments and banks get involved to finance the construction and all that. And there's about a $4.7 million gap there that they want the city to help out with via tax rebates was the first ask, they ask for 15 years, a 75% tax rebate. And there's a lot of working parts around that. Again, that's what they asked for. So we're going to have we had an internal conversation.
So they're going to be collecting rent, and they're expecting all the neighbors to pay for all the sewer, water, police, and fire.
I don't want any of you to jump to conclusions on anything. There's
I'm not.
there's an $80 million project on the table, and there's a $4.7 million assistance that they want the city to help with in some way, shape, or form. And we're having those conversations to ferret out
Who's
what
we?
the city. And then once they kind of have agreement, they would come back to council for yay or nay or to opine on that. Also, we can't all be involved in those conversations because Sunshine Law. And it's not to the point where it's coming to the public meeting. But there's conversations going on about that. At some point, it's going to come to council to talk about that. So I'm just making you aware that there may be an ask to use some of the CRA money to help that project. Does that make sense? You guys give me weird looks.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for a municipality, a county, because that's what this money's for, redevelopment. And so that's in the CRA. And so they're asking for some help through our CRA to make that project happen. They can come to us and we say, absolutely not. We're not going to do anything to help this project. And it doesn't happen, or it happens. Again, it's the idea is that at the end of the day, based on the preliminary numbers, there would be that 8.5 acres is valued at $1.4 million, I think, on the tax rolls. It would potentially, after they're done, be evaluated at $50 million, which is a huge tax increase. And so there's incentive for the city to want that. When it develops the property down there, gives the public these commercial restaurants, shops, retail, whatever. There's a multifamily component of it. Again, I don't have any specific details on those things other than that the overall project is going to probably be valued around $50 million based on their preliminary numbers and assessed value. This will be an $80 million project. It's real cost that they got.
I got a lot of questions anyway because
we all have
all
these
these promises and they haven't done anything. So.
Well, again, there's a lot of this is a very fluid process. There's a lot of things that need conversation to kind of come to an agreement, and then it comes to where we're going to be as a council in a city, public comment. But again, there's things happening in the background. I'm just making you aware that there is an ask for some assistance through our CRA fund. And what that turns out to be, I don't know.
They need to get out there and mow the grass first. They need to make their effort. They need to make their effort on making it better.
We did everything they asked us to do.
We're not even sure it's the cash they want. They may just want the 15 years of tax.
Yeah.
But we're looking at it in all aspects of it. I mean, for us, benefit-wise, when you're looking at it right now, is we give them some liquid cash and then offer them some kind of, but it's not a 75%. But also we're looking at ways of having some kind of equity in it by putting this in there as well. There's a bunch of different things you have to look at. Like, one, are we going to keep it in the CRA when it's $80 million? I mean, that's going to be a lot of extra money for us if we have to contribute to that. Of course, we'll get the county. There's a lot of other stuff involved in it. Do we take it out of the CRA and we get the ad valorem tax for it? And what does that look like if we offer them some kind of tax break on that? So it's a very movable
complex
thing right now. It is. And that's why, like, with this thing right here, when we these are things that we've been moving forward with the parks and all this kind of stuff that we haven't done. I mean, the best way to spend this money is bring business here. If you're building condos, that's people, that's housing, that's water, that's sewer, that's all these types of things, and we need that. But also, we don't want to break ourselves either. So, like, obviously, I don't think it's a great idea to say we'll give anybody 75% for 15 years. But how do we make that worthwhile to us so that we get the problem, get it, and B, we benefit from it as well as them benefit from it. But this is just like in the very beginning. But that's what we were talking about with this being a fluid thing. So we may have to come back and reallocate some of that if that's something that you guys are the board of the CRA think that's a great idea. And of course, we wouldn't bring it to you. I don't think I would bring it to you without it being some kind of sound investment opportunity for us and for this $2 million because I'm cheap. So, like, I don't want you to get $2 million out. And I want a bathroom at Brasher Park. I got it like that. But we are, it's working. It's a great idea if we can get it worked out right. And again, spending some of this money is a great way to do that. And I think that, this spend $2 million in cash up front and some type of tax liability, I think we would make money in 25 years still going forward. And that's what we want to make sure we're not, selling our horse and our cart at the same time.
And so, us, you guys are all fairly new, but you've been involved in the community. And so originally the project down there was to sink about $3 million in roads, lighting, landscaping, all that. You remember that project, right?
Yeah.
And so while we don't know what that's going to turn out and what that's going to be, but we get this project that's going to come forward at some point with actual details. But they're, like I said, they're working through the financing, and that was their out of the gate. What do y'all think of this? And they're working with an expert that does tax equity financing. And so that's what their initial ask was. And like Adam said, I don't think they wanted any money fronted. I think when it's all said and done, it's basically us guaranteeing that $4.7 million through the reduction of taxes, what the ask was. I don't like this either. And and there's things that complicate that, but they're asking that, and that would help shore up that 4.7 million financing gap that they need to make the project happen. With everybody's got stake in the game. Now, there's lots of different ways that we can, which we're going to discuss that with them. We can provide infrastructure, help with infrastructure costs, and I'll throw this out there because one of the things that I'm thinking is that maybe we talked about a boardwalk along the water there. Maybe the city actually invests and puts that in. We own that asset. It's for the public, and that takes that out of their cost structure. So we got skin in the game. It's a public amenity, but they don't have to provide it, and that shores up some of that money. And maybe
that's a better way to look at it.
And so there's impact fees we might be able to reduce to help them out. There's lots of things we could take out a bond that they pay back. That we're like the guarantee of the bond. So it's a financing thing to make the project happen. So they're asking the city to help out with
the problem I have with what you were saying is when they originally came to us, and a lot of developers come, and this stuff is up front. They'll say this is what we're going to do and what we want to do, and all we're asking for the city is like a 40% incentive for the next 10 years or whatever it is. They came with us saying that this is going to bring a lot of tax revenue to the citizens of the city.
Right, that was
doing
the sell. That was
their selling point.
Exactly
And
right.
now they're saying, but we can't have it.
No, that's not what they're saying.
Well,
it
was a negotiation starting point when I got that email.
okay.
Obviously, you're going to out the gate. You're going to ask for something, right? And so.
And who is negotiating this on behalf of the
Well,
city?
it's not really negotiation. It's just conversation.
Right now.
They haven't even really told us what it
We
involves.
got a good negotiator sitting right over there, Chris.
So I'm involved in the conversations, obviously, as well as.
Oh, I am too.
So
But I don't like the approach of tax breaks.
Yep.
Well, I think tax breaks,
You
I
go.
mean, obviously you don't want to give that away, but tax breaks is what makes, you don't have Tampa without tax breaks. You don't have
It's very
Port Richey without tax breaks. I'm not a fan of giving anything away either, but you're talking an $80 million thing, and we've been stagnant for so long that you almost have to.
Let me explain this so you guys understand, because that's when this comes up. We're gonna need to understand how this works. So the challenge we have within the CRA, and there's benefits to being a CRA, and so let's just use easy numbers. Let's say the tax valuation is locked in right now at $1 million. And I don't know how much, so I apologize if I'm saying something you already know. But back in 2022 or 2002, we locked in values since we created CRA.
Yes.
2002, I think. Is that? 2002, we created CRA. All the valuation of the properties within the city in the CRA, at the time it was everything, those values weren't locked, but they were locked in from an ad valorem general fund perspective. Okay, so let's say that the Gill Dog property that was at $1 million. So as you redevelop, what happens is let's say that property increases to $2 million. Somebody buys for $2 million, increase $2 million. So we still get for this year 6.35 mils. We get 6.35 mils for the $1 million that goes in our general fund. But for the $1 million that the increase is on there, the 6.35, our portion, 95% of that goes into the CRA. The county's 6 point whatever they have, or 7 point, 95% of that goes to us into our CRA. So we're getting all the county's tax on the increment of the valuation when we locked in 2002. That being said, when you talk about a $1 million property going to a $50 million property, and I'll just give you the numbers. So at $1 million, we take our millage at 6.35. It would help if 1 million times 0.0635 is $6,350. Okay, so that's what's coming into our general fund. Now, once they finish their project, if it's $50 million, that's a 49 million increment. All right, so you take that times 0.00635. You have an additional $311,150 that we have to pay into the CRA because that's above the increment, right? The county, whatever there is, just to say it's the same, they would kick in another 95% of, so we're going to have like $600,000 coming into the CRA, but that doesn't help us service that property. right? Let's say we add 1,000 residents, just for easy figure. We're still getting the same tax rate that we, in our general fund that operates the police and fire and all that, based on that locked in value. Our CRA is looking great. All that additional money is going into CRA. So we can do a lot of redevelopment stuff, but we're also taking money that we've got to pay into the CRA. We're getting county money. So if you look from a tax rebate perspective, you're rebating money we wouldn't get if we took it out of the CRA and just realized the full amount of that $50 million property. So you lose the county money. So if we did do some kind of rebate, we'd be technically rebating money that we wouldn't be having anyway. So that's 75% would be too much. But there might be a percentage that we do look at a rebate going forward that might, and we keep it to CRA. But the problem with keeping it to CRA is all that money is getting concentrated into the CRA, and it's not helping us support that property with all the services we got to provide.
So we can use that CRA money for other stuff.
You can
use the other stuff money to service that.
And there, as you do that, there are ways to fund some of your general fund expenses out of the CRA. There's certain things you can do. Depending, if we hired an officer that was specifically for that area, technically that officer's pay can come out of CRA. And I may not be exactly correct, but there's ways to use some of that huge influx of money to help support that property. But again, it's getting way down into the weeds here. But for just to understand that we may need to think about some way to help get this project off the ground.
Eric, I think we need to get down in the weeds for look at it. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, instead of us like, oh my gosh, they're not going to give us any tax money now. I think it's important that we understand so we can see
at the time it comes to council, the details will be completely there.
Have they made any offers on any other property over there?
As far as I know, they've been looking at other properties, but I haven't had any kind of update.
My understanding they haven't, but I just wondered if.
Well, I think they had standing offers, and maybe they haven't. I think they probably came to their price, and they ain't going any lower. I don't know really. I know some of the properties changed hand. I will say that you'd mentioned a few meetings ago about Whiskey Joe's.
About the house.
Yeah, they actually. I did hear that they were under contract on the lot across now. So I think you said that they were. That's actually true now.
They were working on that. I don't know. I didn't know. I know they bought the house, so that's under. And then like Frank's property out Senile Cove used to be there. We're supposed to be buying that, and I understand they haven't even made an offer on that. Yeah. That's an important piece. I think probably key to some of the property changing hands over the course of the future, whatever, is what happens with that initial 8.5 acres too. So.
Is there more to Adam's slideshow?
Yeah, we can get that. I just want to make sure you guys have all the information from me you wanted. So just keep in mind that going forward, there may be some things we need to do with this, but that'll come at a later date.
All right, so that's the budget, basically. So that just shows you that the bulk of the CRA budget is shifted to land purchasing, fixing our parks, sidewalks, stuff like that. So that's kind of where that's going. Then we jump into the CIP expenditures for this year. One of the things that we're doing is the wayfinding. And again, Derek is here. If you have any questions, he can answer these a little bit better than me. But this is expand phase 1 construction signage at major roadways entering the city. And I think that's also encompassing getting everything kind of on the same level, same paint schemes, same colors, right? The whole city. Yeah.
Did I miss this whole way? Because we approved the wayfinding thing, right? And then they were going to have meetings and gather information from all stakeholders and everything. Did I miss all that?
No, they did a site visit here, mostly going around town, taking notes, taking pictures, getting ideas. They had a brief meeting with us, but they were going to come back for public meetings and talking to council.
Yeah, they're just getting started.
What's that?
Are we asking for money in here to do signs at this point?
So we're asking for the wayfinding.
So according to the consultant, it's about $300,000 to phase 1, which is going to be the construction of the main entry signs to US 19, both ends, and Ridge Road. That was what they've told us estimated construction costs is. So we wanted to budget for that. Then once you do with all the information done to us, work up front, we actually have something to show for it.
So they're not done, but they're telling us you need $300,000 and you start putting money away for it. I missed the cart and the horse thing. I thought we were going to get one big master plan, and then we're going to like, okay, well, this is what it costs for this master plan, but we're going to start budgeting for it now.
Well, I mean, this is next year's budget, so whatever, it costs for them to do it, do the initial phase of it, and then if there is construction that we can do next year, this is setting that aside to do that.
We picked some of our favorite signs, kind of examples, that are going to be putting that together too, right? The artwork for our sign.
Yes.
They're working on that too.
Maybe I misunderstood what the wayfinding project was. I thought it was we're going to go grab all the information and tell you what you should do here and here and here and here. I didn't think we were going to piecemeal. Okay, we need $300,000 here. We're going to keep going and doing our thing. We'll have a couple community meetings. I didn't think it was like that. Maybe I'm wrong.
I thought it was comprehensive too.
They were coming in, telling us what we need, and then if this is something we want to move forward with, we have the money, we set it aside. And if we don't use it, let's say they come to us, say it is $350,000. We don't necessarily, we have the money set aside. We can always move that forward. We can always appropriate it and move it forward so it's there, and it's kind of like just saving for us. So if
This
they come to us,
This is to implement, the money here is to implement the results of
The findings.
to implement certain things.
It's not like
We may not implement everything because it's going to cost $3 million, but we might do this portion of their findings for $500,000.
And it'd be nice to get the golf cart crossing at 19 done first too, I think.
Because we're talking about the entry signs to the city, the three main intersects, which is Ridge Road, southbound and northbound US Highway 19. That's what we're talking about right now. Just setting aside of money for those three signs. But with the branding and wayfinding, it goes way beyond that. It goes with street signs. It goes with every park sign we have. It goes down to even.
no. That's what I was envisioning. That's what I was waiting. So what's the next step on that?
Yeah,
So,
this money is just set aside for those three main entrance signs because we know that those are going to be the happen.
We need Centennial Park in there though too.
Huh?
We need Centennial Park in there because
The Centennial Park sign, yes, but all the park signs, even down to our stationery, is going to be different. It's going to be our new branding and wayfinding, like logo type theme moving forward. We'll keep the city seal as an official seal, but this is going to be everything that will be on our road signs, on everything like that is going forward.
I understand that.
That's going to be costing more money.
I was missing our involvement in that, I guess. I was missing when did that happen? And not that staff can't handle that, but I thought we were going to be involved.
You are. No, you still are.
Yeah.
we're going to see the results of that study.
nobody's going to go by the signs without bringing them here.
Yeah.
But I thought the results of that study, based on what they told us, were interviews with us, community things, all that stuff.
That's still happening. That just hasn't
They're going to have
happened.
workshops.
That's coming.
Oh, okay.
That's coming. This is, like he said, this is for next year's budget. This is preemptively.
Well, I'm just
saying-
wondering how you can do all that without having the meetings. How can you tell us what kind of sign we need if you haven't asked us?
I don't know.
All we're doing is putting money in a bucket.
Yeah.
The $300K is for execution of whatever sign we
Right.
pick.
Okay.
Or nothing. Maybe just
Yeah,
we don't spend it.
So they didn't pick a sign and we're dropping $300K in a bucket.
No, yeah,
No.
they came here, drove around town, tried to assess our.
We're earmarking $300,000 towards wayfinding stuff.
Once the decisions have been made.
Yes.
The CIP is stuff that we are putting aside money for. This is where you guys say, yes, we want to spend that money on that. This is what CRA has put together to say, hey, $300,000 is for the signs, and that's what we're going to put aside.
Dave can explain it to you if you give a call. Do we call him now?
In 3 minutes? In 3 minutes?
You give him much time you want. I'm not involved. That's right.
Did we not pay our battery bill?
Did you plug the thing in? Do
You turn it off?
you have the piece in it? Do you have the piece in the computer?
It's yes. Yeah. Did it die? I might have died.
I did let that, sorry. So our next thing is the roadway and trail rehabilitation. This is just asphalt and overlay from Bay Boulevard to Coons Road. This has been, this is just a mirror thing from last year. We tried to do this last year as well. It just didn't get taken off, and I think it didn't take off. So I think this is something we are. I think it's important to do, and we have the money for it. So this is another one of those CIP projects. Is this something? I mean, again, this is just for you guys. You don't want to do that.
Where's Coons Road?
That goes out to Brasher.
About to Brasher.
That big
Okay.
long road.
So when you get that old post,
Yeah.
You take a left on it.
that's we're looking at the sign or the fence post. That's that asphalt right there.
So this would be on Old Post.
Right before you go on the gravel
Between-
with CMC, take a left. That's Coons.
This project
Okay.
would be,
But yeah, it's in front of Waterfront Park right now, that asphalt. That's what you're talking about. And you want to continue
No.
all the way to Coons?
No, that's in front of the apartments behind Walmart, right?
You're talking about the trail going down Old Post Road and then connecting.
So it has to do the road itself, so Old Post from Bay to Coons, because it's in a deteriorated state. Also, Daryl had mentioned the need to remill and relay the hike and bike trail. And so
The bike trail.
yeah, so that's that
Hike and
piece
bike
of asphalt that runs parallel to Old Post from Waterfront Park to Coons.
On the other side of that aluminum fence.
Yeah, to do the whole
That's-
trail, and then also there's a portion of Old Post that's in for state to do that as well. So you have an asphalt. on
That's
it.
because you got those pine trees growing up there, and they're just periphery up there.
You're all okay with that?
I'm okay if we're not asphalting over top of pine tree roots that eat them up in a year. Yeah, can't keep doing that.
Next, yeah, the next.
Is it one
No, just right now. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so the next one is Nick's Parks. This is Mr. Mueller's biggest thing here. So this was just to replace the damaged boardwalk, add bumper to boat ramp, replace floating dock, upgrade tables and benches. Again, this is just something that floated from last year. We put money aside for these upgrades at Nick's Park, which is something we just never did. So these are just, again, mirroring that and things that should happen, or we want to make happen this year, especially now that we have a resiliency person that can help facilitate those things getting started. So, again, this, something I think is needed, especially if we've done nothing but talk about how we want to upgrade down there and possibly make it a better boat ramp, better, docks. I know that's all been.
Well, the boat ramp is destroying trailers at the moment.
So do we rebuild what's there, or do we think about doing what you're talking about?
Well, I think even if we do what I plan, and I mean, this is a suggestion, I still think we can keep the boat ramp and still do that.
And
That's
just
why I
plan down the road for this.
But that way, if we just maintain the dock now, just make
I got
sure
you, okay.
it's not dangerous,
Okay.
and fix the boat ramp so it doesn't destroy trailers. Right now, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would
I
suggest.
think it's a great start. And we
Because
carry on.
You're not doing a huge modification, just patching some.
We're
I
maintaining.
think we'll see our money down the road. I think we put a nice set of docks on there that will welcome boaters from all around with money.
The next one is sidewalk maintenance inside the CRA district. So this repair replace sidewalks within the CRA district. So those are things that again have been talked about since I've been here. Things that need to happen. So this is just put aside money so we can get that started.
So can I ask a question? And this may not be our wheelhouse. These sidewalks, when we replace them, are they putting metal in there, or are they just like putting more concrete down? Because these trucks, I see the FedEx and UPS trucks, or even a trash truck or a dump truck, they drive on the sidewalk and it just breaks it all in little pieces. Is there no metal in there to hold it together?
Is it like rebar?
Yeah, rebar. How about some mesh wire?
Yeah.
I don't see any of that happening when I was watching them lay sidewalks down there on Bay Boulevard.
Sal, are we doing sidewalks internally, or are we hiring it out?
Some we've contracted, some we've done internally. So
Did
I
that
can
one
talk-
out?
I was not there when they were poured, but I can double check with that and get back
Is
to you.
our contract? I guess what I'm wondering is our contract to put metal in them, or
I
no?
mean, from what I've seen in the past, yes, that should be common practice when you're building doing a sidewalk and doing reinforcement. So it should be in there. I mean, I know they have different types of concrete nowadays that you don't require that, but I'd have to check with Daryl and see what they were using and having
I
done.
mean, I just had some concrete done over at my place over there, and literally this is the sophistication. The guy's rolling concrete out of the back of the truck. He takes a handful of stuff and throws it up in the back of the truck. He thinks, well, yeah, they throw another handful up there. It's really not that as far as the fibers. So I'm just thinking these sidewalks that we're fixing, if they're not being reinforced with something, they're going to crack again when somebody drives over top of
Some
them.
of the old sidewalks are only 3-4 inches thick. I think. I mean, that's probably supposed to be 6 inches. I don't know what it is.
And we got
Put the
sand. That's all
rebar
I'm saying. It's
6
very
inches thick.
soft. So when a truck drives over, it just
Well,
breaks it all up.
Yeah, well, a sidewalk is not made to have heavy trucks drive on it.
Your sidewalks are right on the side of the road with no curb and gutter, so people do it all the time.
Well,
Every lawn guy that cuts grass down here on Bay Boulevard pulls onto the sidewalks, unloads his trailer, unloads his lawnmower, his rolls, his truck's sitting there on the sidewalk the whole time.
But
Well, there's
they do that, yeah.
Yeah, there's 300,000 here. Obviously, we should get somebody professional to do it. And we can absolutely have that as a requirement.
Bring that into the contract, yeah.
That's why they don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Is,
And then also,
is Duke Electric covering the broken sidewalks that from damage that they caused with this upgrade to the electricity? Because what they've done, they broke the sidewalk all along River Gulf Road.
Yeah. So did we ever close out with Duke? I know that there was some stuff going on.
As far as I know, the sections that they did break that they fixed.
Okay, well, River Gulf Road, they broke that up good, and I know because I walked my dog there every day, and I watched it happen.
Was it Duke or was that the
It's
Frontier
the
guys?
it's the other. It's
Frontier.
whoever's had the road closed off.
Frontier.
Is that
it
Frontier
people drilling
now?
the holes in the ground, dropping the poles
Yeah,
in the
I
ground?
love
So that's
that.
Duke
So that's not
subcontract.
That's what I thought,
Yeah.
right? But
So
it
maybe,
would be
maybe
under
missed that section.
Duke's purview
Maybe reach out,
to recover.
get the information what she's talking about, and have Duke look at it. Maybe.
All along River Gulf, right along the white dredge lot fencing. It's all cracked up. River Gulf.
River.
It's right
So
adjacent
the next
to
one is
the city
Precious
dredge
Park.
lot.
Oh, yeah. Just also on sidewalks, if there's parts of town where there isn't a sidewalk, but there could be, I think we could use that funding for new sidewalks in addition to repairs.
Absolutely. I think that's part of what
We'd
we're
go through that
doing,
money pretty
sidewalk.
quick. Yeah, I just wanted to.
Not just replace it, but
Our
replace it.
people use sidewalks. They walk their dogs, they run, they bike, they do all kinds of stuff. They're on the sidewalk.
I'm a big sidewalk user, and I'm very familiar with what the sidewalks are like. Very.
They're getting better, by the way. They're getting better.
Mhm.
Did you go up the mountains and get the picture of that?
That's actually my house.
Okay.
I was gonna say that's not a $500,000 bathroom right there. That's about
The
$125,000
Eagle's lair,
bathroom.
the Eagle's nest.
That's
the
$125,000 these days.
This is what you get for cheap.
I think it's gonna blow away with the first hurricane. But, yeah. No, but with the $500,000, I put the bathrooms because again, that's my thing. But
Did you? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Did you see? Did I send it to you? They make a bathroom that when we got storms coming in or floods coming in, you pick that thing up with a forklift, stick it on a flatbed, take it to high ground, leave it there, come back, and after the floodings, then drop back down.
I know Matt was.
We've looked at
I don't
those.
think so. Matt was
I think we've looked at those.
looking at multiple monitor type stuff.
Yeah, it's the same thing as that. It's just got two forks under it to pop the forklift up and stick it on back of the truck.
This is an inflatable, actually.
Yeah.
No, that's no. I was going to say something. I'm not going to say it.
I blew that up myself. Anyway,
Go to the
500,000
bathroom
is
and
just for the bathroom.
gets a leak.
It's reconstruction of the parking lot, including new curtains, additional new construction on shelters, playground equipment, and new restroom facilities. And part of the playground equipment is those shades that goes over it. And those are very expensive. That's what that $500,000 will do. Bathroom, new parking lot overlay, stuff like that. Stuff the buildings have.
Yeah, just an important note about Brasher Park. Last week, the city was noticed that the remaining structures of Brasher Park are going through the slum and blight process because they're in rough shape. So, for funding priority, we wanted to try to get something done there because it is in slum and blight, which is what the CRA is for.
Any chance we could trim the mangroves over there at?
So my past life, I did learn about that. There's a window over the box, right? And you can't go under or over, and you have to be certified to do.
Yeah,
right?
it's called the tree trimmers. They come into my neighborhood all the time.
Hey,
As long as you're certified.
if I could, let's not try to boil the ocean here. So, I mean, great conversation.
Well, when do you bring it up?
If
You can't trim the mangroves.
well, you don't need council approval to trim mangroves. If you know of an issue with trim, I mean, submit it to the city. They can look at that. We don't need to discuss it here. I'm just, welcome to. We can stay here all night.
I don't want to stay here all night.
But I don't want to get off track here. He's trying to go through the budget. And,
Not without council permission, right after that.
yeah, right. We're past that. Yeah, CRA, we can go out.
So, and then, of course, the property acquisition, which I think we should, a bulk of our money besides Brasher Park. But should go into this property acquisition. I mean, there's a lot of projects we want to do, and property is one of those things that we should really look into. So we're really trying to identify. I think we've got.
Yeah, we have some needs we've identified just in the last couple of weeks after meeting again with the RO water plant engineer team. So we're looking at properties where we can place wells, and specifically a deep injection well. And there's a lot of parameters. It's got to be this far away from that and everything. So we're working with the realtor now to
Well, this
prioritize what properties we go for.
This part works in many different ways. It helps, disperse our money. It helps us spend our money, and we're getting assets for the city, and just and
That hold their value in the event things
Right.
change.
and it touches other things that may not be in our city that we could, obviously try to annex, which is our plan this year. So, but a bulk of money is there, and we did raise that. I can't remember how much we raised the amount, so we really should spend the money on that. Really push for this property acquisition this year. I think it's important. And that's it. Or the thing went out. So that's the budget. It is what it is. It's just it's a mirror from last year. It's just we need to I think really spend it. And again, if we were talking about this other project that the mayor was talking about, we come back during our September 4th meeting, reallocate some of that money, but also still keep money in these projects that we need to move forward. Any questions?
Real quick question on our current budget for professional services, we had a little over $2 million in there. What did we spend on that? Was that pretty much all that rolling?
Yeah, most of that's rolling. I think it was really more of a placeholder. Again, we knew some of these projects were going to take off. So it was a placeholder. It encumbered that money. So it was more of a placeholder.
Yeah, so it looks like the actuals are 20,000. So
Yeah, we didn't spend hardly anything.
I just want to call attention to that. So we didn't spend nowhere near $2 million.
Right. But this stuff, as you can see, it's all broke down by park. So like it's easier. Like if I'm not here or someone else is doing those things, they know exactly where that money is coming from. And that's why we're trying to get away from those professional services.
Just asking Derek had
And note on professional services, that's a lot. That's where some of our surveys and our strategic planning and all that comes from, the professional service line. So, we're talking about a park master plan, it would come out of that line, and then construction would actually come out of the CIP.
Yeah, we're not going to spend $3 million on professional services.
Yeah, I don't recall why we had $2 million in. That was probably because of the air stuff, maybe roll over out.
Yeah, and I think we just didn't put stuff in the line where it needed to go.
Yeah.
We have lines for everything, and obviously I tried my best to do it this year, but it's we're still working on that. But you should be able to look at it and see for the line what it's for. So when you look at that $3 million, you're doing the same thing I'm doing. I was like, what's the plan for that? Because when I got here, Matt had already done the budget, so it's hard for me to see what that $3 million is. Any other questions? Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
Nice job.
Okay. That was the budget discussion. So next up, item number 3, discussion on the Community Redevelopment Agency Capital Improvement Plan, CIP. I pass that to Mr. Butterfield's introduction.
Yes, sir. CIP, we just covered it. We kind of rolled right from one to the next.
Kind of what I thought, but
cheating. Trying to be more efficient.
You may do it again?
No, we're good. No. You did a smoking job. Thank you. Okay. Next up is item number 4, discussion on old business. Is there any old business? Go ahead.
No.
It's your time.
I'm not doing it again.
We can stay here all night.
I get spanked once a night.
No. I really want you to make the motion.
And you haven't got home yet, Bob.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.